Another Islamic savant was Imâm Rabbânî Ahmadi Farooqi. It has been unanimously stated by religious authorities that his depth in religious knowledge, his high grade in ijtihad, and especially his perfection in tasawwuf were above mind's ability to comprehend. The books that have appeared recently in the United States have begun to be illuminated by the rays of this sun of happiness. Imâm Rabbânî rahmatullahi alayh was specialized in the scientific knowledge of his time too. In the 266th letter of the first volume of his book Maktubat, he writes, "My son Muhammad Mathum has recently completed reading the book Shar'i Mawaqif. During his lessons, he has understood well the errors and the defects of the Greek philosophers. He has learned many facts. This is a scientific book and has been taught until recently in the High University Division of Islamic Madrasas. Mawaqif was written by Qadi Adud, and this, that is, the book mentioned above by Imâm Rabbânî, is the revision of it by Sayyid Sharif Ali Jurjani. A great Arabic work of about 1,000 pages, it explains all the scientific knowledge of that time. The book is divided into 6 parts, each of which contains different sections. In the second paragraph of the 3rd chapter of the first section of the 4th part, it proves that the earth is spherical, and in the 6th paragraph, it proves that it rotates from west to east. It also gives valuable information about atoms, various states of matter, forces, and psychological events. Europeans have derived most of their scientific knowledge and its basis from Islamic books. While Europeans assumed that the earth was flat like a tray surrounded by a wall, Muslims had known that the earth was spherical and was rotating. This fact is written in detail in the books Shar'i Mawaqif and Marifat Nama. They measured the length of the meridian of the open plain of Sinjar between Mosul and Diyarbakir, finding the result as it is found today. Nuruddin Batruji, who passed away in 581 or 1185 of the Christian era, was a professor of astronomy at the Islamic University of Andalusia. He wrote today's astronomy in his book Al-Hayat. When Galileo, Copernicus, and Newton said that the earth rotated after learning this fact from Islamic books, they were deemed guilty for their words. Galileo was judged and imprisoned by priests. Until the Tanzimat, or reforms of Abdul Majid in 1839, scientific lessons in the Ottoman Empire had been being taught in madrasas. Enlightened men of religion had been being educated. They had been guiding the world. When scientific lessons were abrogated, explorations and inventions stopped. The West began to gain on the East. Today, we will learn our religion from the books of those great savants. Religious knowledge can be learned from the Ahl Sunnat savants or from their books. It cannot be acquired through kashf or inspiration. He who reads their books will both learn knowledge and his heart will be purified. Useful things, providing men with a healthy, salutary, comfortable, and cheerful life in this world and endless happiness in the hereafter, are called ni'mat or blessing. Allah Ta'ala, being very compassionate, created all the blessings his born slaves would need, and through his heavenly books, which he revealed to his prophets, he instructed us on how we should use and utilize these books. These instructions are called deen. If any person, Muslim and disbeliever alike, leads a life in conformity with these books, he will enjoy comfort and peace in the world. A drugstore carries hundreds of medicines, and each of these medicines has a set of instructions packed with it. A person who uses the medicine as it is prescribed in the instructions will benefit from it. He who does not follow the instructions will suffer harm. Likewise, a person who lives compatibly with the Quran al-Karim will benefit from the blessings. It is necessary to be a Muslim so that you can attain happiness in this world and in the hereafter, while living peacefully and joyfully. One who has faith and performs his acts of worship is called a Muslim. Having faith means to believe in 6 certain essentials and all of the commandments and prohibitions. Allah Ta'ala is pleased with those who are true Muslims. A true Muslim is loved by Allah Ta'ala. Being a true Muslim requires you to have the faith taught by the Ahl Sunnah savants and to worship correctly and sincerely. Allah Ta'ala has promised that He will love such people, that He will inspire faids and nurs into their hearts in the world, and that in the hereafter He will give thawab or blessings as a reward for the acts of worship performed correctly and sincerely. Worshipping means doing the commands, fards, and taqwa, means avoiding the prohibitions, harams. Performing an act of worship correctly requires learning how it is to be done, and performing it by following the instructions you have learned. Ikhlas means to do every act of worship for the grace of Allah Ta'ala only. Worshipping Allah Ta'ala is done by giving away one's property and by worshipping physically. For example, performing pious and charitable deeds, saving Muslims from trouble, remembering Allah Ta'ala, and asking for forgiveness, tawbah, are all forms of worship. There is no ikhlas, sincerity, but riya, hypocrisy, in the worship which is done to obtain property, rank, respect, or fame. Such worship is not rewarded with blessings. It will be a sin and a cause for being tormented. Dark stains develop in the hearts of those who commit harams or bid'ah, heresy, and also in the hearts of those who are the friends or neighbors of disbelievers or la madhabi individuals. Imâm Rabbânî, rahmatullahi alayh, says in the 59th letter of the first volume of his book Maktubat, when beginning any worship, all Muslims must keep in their minds the intention of performing an act for Allah Ta'ala's grace. Allah Ta'ala has ordered them to do so, and He loves it. Hence, they will perform that act sincerely. However, all good deeds and favors should be done with sincerity, ikhlas, and this sincerity must come immediately from the heart. A good intention and ikhlas are obtained with difficulty and by disciplining oneself, and the results are never permanent. Gradually, the desires of the nafs settle in the heart. Owners of permanent ikhlas are called mukhlas. Those who have inconstant ikhlas and who strive to obtain ikhlas are called mukhlis. It is easy and sweet for a mukhlas to worship. This is because there are no desires of the nafs or anxiety from the devil in their hearts. This kind of ikhlas can only come into one's heart through the heart of a wali. While beginning to worship, one can obtain inconstant ikhlas by fighting against one's nafs and the devil. Doing worships with this ikhlas causes the nafs to become weak in process of time. This, in turn, brings about permanent ikhlas. However, to attain permanent ikhlas takes years.